Hi, good morning, everybody. It is fantastic to see all of you bright and early this morning. Well, today is a fantastic day. Yesterday, it rained really heavy, and the sky is so blue and it's so clear. Well, today is the 22nd of September 2021, and we are here to actually listen to some fantastic people where we are talking about embrace to survive in the digital storm. Yes, this is just gonna be an awesome time. And of course, I can see right at the bottom right here at the Zoom, I've got around 42 people with me. Obviously, we got some of the panelists as well on the list, but I would love to hear from you. Well, my name is Josh. I'm going to be a host for this session, and definitely it's going to be a very intriguing day for all of us. But before we bring up our panelists and start our session today, I would love to know, who am I talking to? You know, Zoom, right? We just don't know who we are talking to. We're talking to a 2D screen flat, and then we're like, okay, we just got to assume that everybody is just watching us right now. So what I need you guys to do at the chat room right at the bottom, I need you guys to type where you guys are watching from. That would be fantastic to tell me where you guys are watching from, whether you're from Kuala Lumpur, are you guys from Selangor, or even up north where Penang is, Kedah, Perlis, or down south where Malacca, Negeri Sembilan, Johor, and of course our friends from Terengganu and Kelantan, of course our friends from Sabah and Sarawak, not forgetting them as well. All right, so, and of course Pahang, the biggest state in Semenanjung Malaysia, right in the middle. So tell us where you're watching from. I've got our friends from TM Cloud saying they're from Setiawan, Perak. Fantastic. And I've got Jason also from Kuala Lumpur. So yes, keep those chat coming in, because I would like to also talk to you a little bit. You know, I can't be talking to myself all the time. I know I'm at home and I'm like talking to a 2D camera, right? I mean, it's like so sad. I can't even see you guys. Later I can see the panelists, but I can't see you guys. You know, I need to like give me some encouragement. Yes, give me some encouragement, people. All right, so please do that. Yes, KL, Shah Alam, PJ, fantastic, awesome people of Klang Valley. Right. Rusiha also says, thank you and welcome to the Embrace to Survive in Digital Storm. Yes, that is our team. You know, when we talk about Zoom webinars, right, we have a fantastic team right behind us. There are a lot of people that actually are just putting all the hard work day in, day out. And I would like to also recognize them for today. Fantastic work they are doing. So yes, we've got our friends also, BP. Okay, that's interesting. And of course, we've got Suraiti saying hello, and of course, Li Yin as well. All right, so yes, thank you very much, everybody, for typing, because we need to know as to whether we are loud and clear. I mean, there's always a reason for doing things. So that is the reason why I asked you to type, so that we know that we are coming to you live and loud and clear, so that everybody can enjoy this session. Also, please do remember that we have a Q&A mechanism right at the bottom of the Zoom. For those who are very familiar with Zoom, you will know there's a Q&A tab, right at the bottom, right here. Okay, if you just move your cursor a little bit, the tab will come up and then you'll see a Q&A. So what I need you to do, if you do have any questions, please write those questions at the Q&A tab. But remember, because I got 4 panelists, right, and I can't feel you, I can't ask you which question is it going to, I need you to write the person's name that you would like to address this question to. All right, so you need to do that. All right, so we got 4 panelists today, so you need to write the question and tell me which question this question is for. All right, so please do that. Excuse me, please do that right now at the Q&A tab if you do have any questions right away. All right, so do that. Not forgetting, we also have some lucky draw prizes. Yes, even webinar also got lucky draw, okay? So I need you to stick around, because we got 2 segments when we give away prizes. I won't tell you what they are, but they are phenomenal. Value up to almost 10,000 ringgit. I'm not kidding you. Valued up to 10,000 ringgit just for you, just because you are here with us. We like to appreciate you, so we would like to give you that lucky draw. So you need to stick around, because there are 2 segments to this. Why should I tell you? Because I know you walk away and then you come back just for the lucky draw. So I'm not going to do that. So you guys got to stick around. 2 times we're going to have this lucky draw, and prizes worth up to 10,000 1,000 ringgit. I also will not tell you the sequence of it as well, because it's all a surprise for all of you. So once again, thank you very much for watching, everyone. The time right now is 10:05. Yes, I think we should start, right? I think we should start. I think everybody is just really, really eager to know what's going to happen, especially with this topic, embrace to survive the digital storm. So once again, I'd like to remind you, if you do have any questions, please do write at the Q&A tab, okay? Don't worry, just type it there and I will look into it. And of course, my colleagues who are at the back will also look into it as well. All right, so let's start. Once again, officially, I would like to welcome you to the Embrace to Survive the Digital Storm webinar session. Okay, and the pandemic has been hitting the retail industry particularly hard, pushing this sector from evolution to revolution. Bricks and mortars will be history as purchases are just a click away. Online purchases has increased by 72%. All right, 72% compared to a decrease of 44% who shop at physical stores. Simply put, retailers and its ecosystem do not have the luxury of time to adopt the wait and see approach. In today's webinar's topic, we will try to address concrete topics such as smart shops, customer analytics, omnichannel shopping experiences, enterprise-wide inventory visibility, and many-to-many fulfillment agility, and building effective customer loyalty so that retailers, suppliers, and partners can understand the trends and innovations in the age of digital retail. All right. So to kickstart, ladies and gentlemen, our panel for today, our first speaker comes with 47 years combined experience in IT management, business management, and operation, and has represented organizations at various C-level positions. His business exposure and experience spans a variety of industries, including hotel and properties, retail and supply chain management, manufacturing, stockbroking, properties, financials, and airport management systems. He was also actively involved in the outsourcing and managed services, evaluation and implementation initiatives in United Kingdom and Malaysia, and process re-engineering, and equally is a business coach for new startups. As far as we know, right now, he has coached up to 22 startups, okay? And he is the current chairman of APICTA, Asia Pacific ICT Analyze Award, for 4 years, okay? For 4 years, which is the Olympic of ICT, which is for 21 years. With 16 members, economist, PACOM counselor, and Secretary General of MRCA. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to bring up the Secretary General of MRCA, Mr. Stan, to talk on the next frontier. Mr. Stan.
Thank you very much, Josh. Good morning, everybody. I bring you greetings from MRCA. Warm welcome this morning, and thank you for the opportunity, Tim, for allowing me to share these thoughts on a very, very important subject. And I think, Josh, you kind of alluded to the fact that some of those things are really in perspective right now, where we are heading towards in the retail. Next slide, please. I'm going to be talking about the digital age. Basically, what's happening at the moment right now, if you know that there are a number of things that I think we are going through. I suppose the slide will show you that we're actually going through a storm, but I like this Chinese word called weiji. It simply means that we have a calamity and an opportunity at the same time. Actually, we are at the midst of two storms. One is the pandemic storm, and the other is the digital storm that we're going through. So what a nice way to create a perfect storm for our business and organizations. That's a great way to start the day. But I think some of us may be thinking along those lines, where's retail heading today in the digital world? Number two, what can I do? Can I make mistakes? Am I ready to make the change? What will it take? I think some of these questions are kind of pondering upon in a mindset, and some people are wondering what we need to do from then on. But having said that, there's also this influx of technologies, influx of information that's coming about that's causing a lot of distress as to which do I take, who do I go, how do I start, and where things are at the moment. But having said that, I think we probably need to go to the basics. We need to go to the fundamentals, and then we will take it up and see where we are and what we can do in order to take advantage of the digital landscape today in retailing. Next slide, please. The next slide shows you basically where things are disrupted at the moment. You notice that this pictorial will give you a view of what's happening around us, where from a supermarket shopping to a fashion shopping to all kind of stuff. Everybody is now gathered around what we call digital gadgets. All right, but later I'm going to talk a little bit about some revolution, because Joshua mentioned about revolution. But let me tell you why this change is coming about and why we need to be prepared in order to take advantage of this situation. Next slide, please. Let me go to the fundamental. Now, whether you are a pasar malam trader, you are a small SME, or you are a big retailer, this retail business cycle will never change. This retail business cycle will go on because you will have sales, and then you analyze, then you have planning, then you do your buying, and then you receive. It goes into your warehouse, it gets into your distribution, then you deliver to your stores, and then back to sales again. This cycle never changes. The only difference is sometimes you will have people doing the same thing. For example, a pasar malam trader may be doing all of this at one go. But then again, in the SME and in a big organization, there are respective departments that handle this. But this retail business cycle never changes. I'm not talking about the middle part of the other things that goes underneath. But as you know, the common thing in this retail business cycle is one, that's inventory. Number two, the link to the inventory with the customer. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit as I move along. So this is the retail business cycle. Huh? It's very, very important to understand where we are, because everything in life has a cycle. Next slide, please. Let me talk about some of the retailing concerns. This is an internal concern. This is something that I like to share so that you understand where we are. Just some of the pain points. Number one, there is a huge disparity because a lot of them do not have what we call overall business visibility, end-to-end visibility of the business. You may have some, but you may not have all. So that's issue number one. Number two, there are organizations that have business processes, but they do not align with IT. Sometimes I hear people say, I bought the systems, but it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. At the same time, I still got a lot of issues. So the question here is whether those processes of business and IT are aligned. That's issue two. Number three, this is a big one. Inventory management and across visibility in your business. One of the biggest challenge of inventory concerns in retailing today is the movement, where they are, the book value versus the physical, and items that move, the items that don't move. How do I then control that? That's it's a big issue. Number four, unknown shrinkages. Now, when we talk about shrinkages, the thing that comes to mind is pilferage, but pilferage is just one component of a shrinkage cycle. There are 8 areas in the business where shrinkages happens, and I'm not going to cover that because in interest of time. But what I will do say is that this is one of the concerns, and especially when you're looking at losses, your out of stock positions. So that's a big issue in businesses today. The other one is fraudulent transactions at the store level. This is a big one. I do know clients and customers that we talked about that this. By the way, this is a global problem. It's not just unique to Malaysia. Fraudulent transactions at the store level is a big issue globally, and that's a big concern too. I won't cover that, but there are technologies to handle that issue as far as in the digital world. Next, overall systems reliability and dependency. Sometimes retailers forget that they are actually not supposed to look after systems. Their job is to run the business, but there's a lot of emphasis on systems. There's a lot of emphasis on how shall I say, dependability on systems, which is correct. The notion is correct, but I think we should draw away from that, because there are roles and responsibility in business where you can align that to somebody else to look after that part of the problem for you. Next, lack in vendor service and industry domain knowledge. This is very key. Sometimes when you have an engagement strategy, you are building new strategies, sometimes the vendor that you have in service with you does not have the domain knowledge of the industry. So therefore, they cannot contribute. They're not able to give you what you're supposed to perhaps align or add on into the strategy. That's a big problem. The next one is data management. By the way, the slides has gone too far. Can you go back to the slide where I'm talking about retailing internal concerns? Thank you. Data management, the accuracy and reliability. Some companies, organizations, with all due respect, has a lot of data, but they just don't know what to do with the data. They just don't recognize the data. They can't even interpret the data. So the dependency and the accuracy, whether the data is accurate or not, is a problem. Here's one thing that I find. I've been to meetings personally. I've sat in meetings when I've seen people have brought up reports from the system, and they're talking across with merchandisers and planners. But the planners has got their Excel sheets. And I said, why is the figures differ from the Excel versus the figures that are from system? They said, we don't trust the system. We know how things work. We create our own Excel sheets. So there's a lot of contention in this area as well. So why then you have systems when you're using Excel to do your stuff that you don't really trust the data from the Excel? So these are some of the concerns that even goes on today. And by the way, that's an international issue, not just in our home country here. Security controls and transaction level. This is a big one. I won't cover too much into it. And also we have a lot of data points. Unfortunately, that we don't collect data because there are a lot of data sources in organizations, but given the fact that we do not have enough systems out there in terms of the data point, the touch points, we're not able to collect the data back. And because we're not able to collect the data back, we miss that huge opportunity. Let me give you one example. When you go to department stores or any store for that matter, there's a fitting room. This is one area that merchandisers would love to know what is actually happening with their products. Unfortunately, we don't capture the data. All we do is the customer goes in, tries it, puts it back, and he walks away. We then send to the cashier. We then, then it's transacted and the sale is done. But what about those inventories left behind by the customers that is unknown? What happened to that data? What happened to that data? Isn't that valuable data for the merchandise to make as to why the color, the sizes are not moving? Why is the customer rejecting it? I mean, these are data points. So unfortunately, we don't capture that. This is just an example. Various level of data collection, I mentioned that people management, this is skills and talents. Unfortunately, in many organizations today, we have these silo positions, controls, where people don't interact. Unfortunately, the talent that is put there to understand that component does not so-called openly share that details with the rest of the departments, and vice versa. And so what happens is we have one corporate strategy, but we're acting in silo positions, and that becomes a big issue to the organization. And so we need to break that down. These are some of the issues and problems, right? And making the rightful decision. And these are huge gaps at the moment in organizations where they do not make timely decisions. And of course, that being said, obviously that's going to lead to effective and strategy, meaningful launching of those in a timely manner so that you can go out. And however, the other point, the underneath issue is that once you launch a strategy, there's no mechanism to measure that strategy, the performance of the strategy. So these are some of the concerns of retailing today. Let's go to the external concerns. Next slide. Number one, business is getting more complex. Sure enough, with the digital world moving in that fast pace, with the storm that's coming and passing by you, business is getting very complex. You must understand that point. Number two, there is a shifting demographics. People are no longer in the same position as they are. The demography of the customers are changing overnight. Customers today demanding things from their demands are increasingly complex. And if you stay where you are, you will not be relevant. So that's an external issue that you need to concern with. Household spending and downsizing is another big one. Because if you notice that the spending power of households are now somewhat compromised because of the situation people are going through. Yeah, there are still spenders out there, but I think you must always bear that in mind that your price point is very, very important. So therefore, you need to take stock of that. Changes in social lifestyle and behavior. We have this, what we call a coffee culture. About 7-10 years ago, I didn't see so many cafes, and I love coffee. But these days, I see the business meetings are done in cafes. I see people gather on cafes, and there's a whole bunch of lifestyle changes. In fact, in some of the department stores, they even have a small cafe corner. Why? They're trying to embed that lifestyle into the business foray so that customers who come there can actually enjoy the lifestyle and still shop at the store. There are more educated customers today. How so? Very much so, because customers have become too smart today. They're very, very smart. I'm going to show some slides afterwards why they are. More educated customers now, and because there's also what we call new channel formats. There's a hybrid model. Retailers have embraced a hybrid model. There are so many other areas that are available in multi-channel retailing. And if you don't take advantage of that, you're going to have a problem, huge problem. Trends and lifestyle changes in fashion, in people behavior, in customer behavior, in store behavior, and how you put that into perspective to drive value. That is becoming a huge issue. Now, it's another problem is, of course, you want to target the selected customers. But how do you then keep the balance? How do you do one-to-one marketing versus mass marketing? You know, some years ago, there were some very, very expensive CRM systems. I won't mention them. Very expensive systems, cost millions to implement. But after they implemented, they were talking about this, what we call one-to-one marketing. It was a huge hype. I asked myself today, where are those systems? Where are those one-to-one marketing? What happened to all the customers? So you notice that it is not the systems that are going to make the difference. It is the people connection and keeping your customers through you and through your messaging and how you manage that relationship. That's very key, because systems will only tell you this is what's happening, but you then take that forward, which of course is not happening today. Foster greater customer loyalty. There are customers a choice today. Hey, I don't like this, I go there. Oh, if you don't serve me, I'm going to run away. By the way, once you lose a customer, it is very, very difficult to get a customer. It takes so much to bring the customer in, but when you lose a customer, you lose many folds of the amount that you spend to keep the customer going in the first place. So that's a problem too. How do you then take into consideration the new customer versus the old customer? There's a huge generation gap as well, because while you're serving this group of customers, there's a different demographic of customers that are coming on board who has different demands. So obviously your strategy has to change as far as customer connection is concerned, as far as delivering the value to the customer is concerned. So those are huge problem areas as well. Effective manpower management. We still have a lot of lack here. Skill sets to handle that, it's very key. We have a lack. So I think education and training is one of the areas to build that up to cover the gap, but that's not good enough, because I think I'm going to have some issues later on with this. I'm going to talk about this, where the issues are coming, but keep that in mind for this one. Last but not least, the competition is hitting everywhere. So brand building and keeping up with compliance is another issue. Compliance here means that if you're a big retailer, sometimes you have to comply to some of the regulatory standards. So you have the challenge as well. But brand building here simply means, how do you build a brand? How do you then channel the brand to your customers so that there's a brand loyalty as well? Those are challenges today. Let's move on. Next slide. This is interesting. So therefore, now I'm coming to relate to the crux of the matter. Digital is not the future, but in retail, but it's right now. In fact, the pandemic has helped us to change the strategy. So some people tell me, hey, digital is the future. And I say, no, it's not. Digital is right now. If you don't take the advantage now and make a move now, you will be left behind for sure. Let's move on. Why? Next slide, please. Let me look at the frontier, as Joshua mentioned just now about the retail frontier. There are 4 things that's happening that's causing this digital storm. One, we have what we call a digital culture revolution. There's a whole bunch of culture shift of people, devices. You know, if you look at the 7 billion people on the planet, they all almost have one toothbrush. They own one toothbrush. At the same time, most of them own at least minimum 1 gadget, some even 3 gadgets. I mean, I've seen people sitting in cafes having 2 phones and an iPad, and at the same time a Mac or maybe a laptop. But why do you need all the gadget? The question is not about needing it, it's about the change, the shift, the culture change. There's a digital culture change in people, so you need to be aware of that. Number 2, there's also what we call a digital revolution. Digital is changing business landscapes. Let's take that and let's not deny that. That's very true. 3, there is an information revolution. People are looking for information. People are always buying. In fact, I almost can tell you this, that as I'm presenting now, and if I mention a fact, I can almost guarantee you somebody's going to Google immediately and see whether that fact is correct, that fact is not correct, because we're living in the information age, and that is happening all the time. Number 4, there's a knowledge revolution. You know, I don't have time, but I can tell you 2 major cases of retailers where they failed miserably because of a lack of knowledge revolution or knowledge management in the organization. So now organizations are building their core value, their core information, their techniques, their know-hows into what we call a knowledge management revolution within organizations, so that they maintain that and they keep that in the view that sometimes when people move along and people go, they maintain that core position, because that's very relevant to the core business. So if you move to the next slide, oh, sorry, not next slide. If you move to the next screen, you will see what we call a social revolution. Now, that is causing a lot of disruption because of all these other revolutions. We have now a huge social revolution. People are using devices and gadgets to place their orders, to order meals, to do online orders. And so they have a connectivities and all that. So while that is happening, actually, the digital revolution is taking advantage of the social revolution to even do things like using WhatsApp, Facebook, for example, to do business, to do commerce, to do transactions. So all that is happening right now. So because of that, you cannot sit back and say, I am 20 years, I'm successful, no one can touch me. That's not going to happen. If you don't make a change right now, you're going to have a serious issue. Now, because of that, if you look at the small box underneath, that is causing us now what we call a digital transformation, which means we are taking all our processes, all our systems, all our connectivity, all the level of where we communicate into what we call a digitalized position. All right, let's move on. Next slide. Because of that, now we have this huge impact, revolution impact, because the technology revolution is causing us to make that shift. And you have to make the shift now. Please do not wait another day later, because if you don't make a change now or think about it at least, you will be left behind. Trust me, you will be left behind. Next slide, please. There are 10 technologies I'm going to talk about. I'm going to zero in now that's impacting retail today. Number one, I'm not going to cover all of them, but I'm going to cover some of them. The common ones, for example, artificial intelligence, facial recognition. And then we have what we call a voice and video technology that is helping retailers. The Internet of Things, where sensors and cameras, augmented reality. For later, I'm going to show some slides where you can actually look at a mirror, or you can look at perhaps some reality and see how things look like in the real world or in the augmented world, so to speak. Big data analytics, trust architecture, and of course, blockchain. Blockchain is used today in some of goods I won't mention. So if you buy a particular watch, and if you ever lose a watch or somebody buys a watch of you, and you want to know whether that watch is genuine, you can actually go to the site and check. Because of the blockchain technology, it will tell you the ownership, it will tell you exactly who bought it, when they bought it, the cert number, everything will be checked. So you will know for a fact that you bought a secondhand but a genuine watch because of blockchain. So that's been implemented right now in a number of fronts. I won't go into the detail of that. Okay. So these are some of the technologies that's impacting retail today very heavily. AI is the big culprit that is causing a lot of disruption. Let's move on. Next. So if you look at retail today, in its current form, you look at manufacturing, and from manufacturing, you find that the goods are going to the distribution or logistics, and then they move into what we call into the retail space or the fast-moving consumer goods, FMCG. And then, of course, we also include hospitality, which is restaurants, and of course, F&B, which comes under that. So obviously, all these things are connected. They are truly connected. And what more now that we have 5G today? It's coming, it's there, it's moving. And with the 5G internet, it's going to give you a lot more things that you can do that you could not do in the current scenario. So please get yourself into the preparation mode. Now, if I look at all these 5 areas, and if I put that into perspective, if I were to digitize them and connect them up all, the next slide will show you the picture. This is what you will look like. So you got retail, your manufacturing, your logistics, your FMCG and your hospital, they're all connected. And of course, there's a lot of detail in retail. There's a lot of details in retail, because what happens is from the time the item is manufactured, the time it's sent, the time it's received, the time it's consumed, the time it's been used, and all that cycle goes along, you're able to see the life cycle of your inventory, what's happening. And of course, that data is so key to the survival of how you then sustain and have the sustainability, but more importantly, having the customer in mind, because at the end of the day, it's all about customers. Now, I do not have enough time to go through a lot of details. I'm just covering at a very high end level. Okay, so please bear with me. Next slide, please. This is very, very important. You notice that I'm going to cover a little bit more customers. Before I go into the slide, let me tell you 4 points about customers. Number one, when you identify the customer, when you identify your experience, the promise, when you tell somebody, a customer, a promise of your delivery, it's actually referring to the delivery of your service, the value deliverables. Please remember that, huh? Because sometimes we have slogans here and there, we tell customers so many things. But unfortunately, some people actually do not know what they mean. It simply means that we need to deliver our value, the value delivery, number one. Number two, the value moves with time. Remember that. Value moves with time because customers become more sophisticated. So the value also moves with time. Number three, all information that you receive must be actionable. Because if nothing moves, that means if you cannot action it, that means it doesn't matter. The information given to you, if you can't really use it for any other purpose, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Number four, which is very, very important. Once you have that in the picture, I'm going to talk about it shortly, the power of knowing habits. This is very key for customers. So if you have customers, the power of knowing your customer habits is number one. That's where you will drive your value. Now let's go to the picture. I call it digital transformation, multi-channel. There's a difference between multi-channel and omni-channel, and I'll explain that shortly. Here we got a liner that I put in a Notion. Customer will buy what they want, when they want, whatever they want, from whatever device or touch point. How true. You look at the picture, these customers now can buy from a store, from a kiosk, from a catalog, from a call center, from an email or the mail order, from a mobile app, from a web store and an online store. There's a difference between a web store and an online store, huh? But these are two different multi-channels. This is called multi-channel, okay? A multi-channel where you offer that selling of your products through this channel where the customer comes and buy. Now, of course, through different devices. Having said that, then you need to have what we call an omni-channel system to put all this into perspective. If you look at the bottom, the omni-channel part of it, all these sources of the multi-channel then comes into what we call through this omni-channel system, where it then uses the retail technologies like the AI, the big data and all that, and it will then give you the data that you're looking for, information that you're looking for. And in fact, through this purpose, if you use the data in the right way, you can look at what we call business analytics. You can look at predictive analytics. That means what's going to happen tomorrow. You can look at prescriptive analytics. And of course, you'll prescribe things that you need to handle and what you need to do, the action that you need to take. All that happens, the engine behind that's working in the omni-channel space. If you look at my slide at the bottom, I also put the one word there, the power of knowing habits. And this is where the key, where actually you draw customers, you segmentize your customers, you work in different kind of steers with your customers because they all have different habits and requirements and needs. That's very, very important. Remember, customer has got a choice today. And this is a pictorial view of telling you what the customer does because they can use it anytime. Next slide, please. Some of the omnichannel experience, look at how the customer can engage using different devices by using the same methodology. Here's one thing I didn't talk about it in the AI world today, where if you do what we call an MTM M2O, which is made to measure, made to order, if you're ordering your furniture and curtains and things like that, or even clothes that you wear, you can actually use these devices, use those technologies to kind of look at how it will look and feel. You know, online is different from offsite. Of course, on-site, you can actually go and look and feel and do things, but online you can't. But customers are getting used to that, notion that if I can look and see, if I can try something online, I can look at it, I can fit it, I will probably perhaps buy it. So those are services that you need to offer. This is one area of what we call an omnichannel customer engagement strategy. Next, please. I also talked about data because I'm talking about if you're going to look at digital today in the digital storm today, and if you want your organization to survive, you must embed what we call a data culture in your organization because it is the new direction in retail. The data is so important and key. Look at this, it's a pictorial that I took from a mall, but look at all the various parts of the mall. Notice what I actually keyed in. I keyed in the word data all over the place because this is, everywhere things happen, there is data. Those are data points, or the touch points, and this is where you engage customers. You know the customer's position, you know what customers are buying, where they're hanging out, and how much time they spend, and where their walkways are, the footfalls, all that is done. By the way, I forgot to tell you too, the added advantage to this, the newer way of looking at things, also we have what we call a fall detection. You know, in malls there's security. So if the camera that's looking at it looks at someone who falls, camera recognizes that someone actually fell and immediately alerts the security. That's what we call fall detection, human fall detection, using AI capability to measure that. That's just some more component of service delivery in your malls, in your area, in the space. But then again, all these things are happening in the mall, okay? But if you don't capture those, and if you don't catch this data, it will be lost forever. And that's why you need to ensure that the customer and the business touch points are always at your fingertips, and using technology to capture that. Next slide, please. Let me talk a little bit more about these technologies in retail. AI for retail, of course, if you notice the business touch points. Now, this is where I talk about staff optimization. If you are a very high ticket retailer, for example, your goods are expensive, or even doesn't matter, even if you're in a supermarket or even in a store, when a customer walks in, and if your priority is to measure staff performance and staff optimization, one of the things you need to notice is how long did it take the staff to meet the customer? You have your time slot, you have your threshold, so you must make sure your thresholds are met. So through technology and AI, you can actually detect and say, actually, the customer came in, but it took 30 seconds for the staff to approach the customer. Is that your service deliverable? So you can use technology and capture those moments and deploy that and improve on those. This is part and parcel of what we call a business touch point for staff optimization. Then you have facial recognition. By the way, when I talk about facial recognition, I'm not talking about pictures being taken, but it's basically system does do what we call a recognition of a face, gives a number, and detect the customer wherever the customer moves in the store. How much time, which allocation they went, which are the areas, the aisles they're looking at. So you want to know why was the customer interested in that aisle or in that position, or what were they looking for. So this is again, a very, very important factor for you to capture customer movements. The other one I talked about is the AI conversational chatbot, which is a big deal at the moment, and is picking up and is hitting the market like storm. This is where the chatbot now becomes a salesperson. While you're asleep or any time of the day, the chatbot is actually selling to the customer, upsell, cross-sell, even collecting payments and making sure the deliveries are done. All that handled by a chatbot, an AI conversational intelligent chatbot that handles all the transactions. So you can imagine that you may have your brick-and-mortar stores, but at the back somewhere you have this AI capability with a chatbot doing all those things for you. Interesting. It's not tomorrow, it's not next week. It is happening right now. In fact, there are a few retailers who have actually deployed this, and it's taking things through the store. Next, please. Let me share some of those other examples in where AI is used in applications in retail. Number one, intelligent weighing scale. This is a $4 billion industry, losses, because worldwide. What happens is there is what we call losses in perishable goods. I personally experienced it. I won't mention the supermarket. I bought grapes. The grapes would have cost me 35 ringgit, but when I came out, it was only 1 ringgit and 76 cents. I was surprised. I looked at it. It said gobies instead of grapes. So the person, because I believe it was G grapes and G gobi somewhere there, so the person who was punching the ticket punched it wrongly. But I've been honest. Went and told the guy says, look, we made a mistake. You keep the grapes. Enjoy the grapes. So that's just one example, but there are many, many examples where this is a big issue. So now what happens is the new weighing scale has got 6 cameras, intelligent cameras that looks at, so even if you put mixture of oranges, apples, it will tell you how many pieces of oranges, how many pieces of apple, and it gives you the right pricing and prints a ticket for you on the labeling. Intelligent, no keyboard, nothing, no human. Everything is done by the cameras, AI intelligent cameras. Number 2, real-time inventory tracking. This is a nightmare for retailers. So technology is deployed to track where the items are. 3, intelligent supply engagement, because you want the supplier to engage with you so that there is a cohesive work within you and the supplier, so that you can tell the supplier that what's moving, what's not moving, where you need to improve things in the product. So therefore, you can actually get that engagement strategy, but using all AI to do that with you. The next one is intelligent jewelry tray. This is a big one because if you know jewelries are expensive, they're very small. So what happens here is that when you put the jewelry tray, there's an AI capability inside, and they will put 2 pieces. So the system knows the weight and the carats of that jewelry. As soon as I have a fake diamond in my hand, I just pick the real one, drop the fake one, the system will alert because it knows that was not the correct product, that they had it in the first place in the tray. Now, this is one example. Secondly, of course, when you do your stock take and all that in the jewelry, it is done at a speed of seconds, okay? Because a jewelry actually do your stock take 3-4 times a day. Next one is customer touchpoints. I mentioned this. This is using Internet of Things in various areas. When the customer moves, when the customer comes in, when the customer comes to the store, just looks at it but walks away, we want to know why. How many did not come in? And by the way, the other thing is conversion rate. When the customer comes into the store, what was the conversion rate? You have 10 people, but how many actually buy your product? All this information are very, very key because you want to know what the problems are. Last but not least, of course, staff optimization and training. This I mentioned. I won't cover too much of it. But I have to say this, there are other areas which I didn't put in the slide. And the other ones are improve demand forecasting, automated replenishment done by the system. For example, the other one is price management. Price management is for merchandises. Your pricing is too high, your pricing is too little, for example. The system's looking some numbers for you. Replenishment, I mentioned about that. And of course, your promotions. How did the promotions did? How did the vouchers did? How did all that did? For example, in your business and retailing. Very, very key for your business to handle that. Next slide, please. And incidentally, I need to also let you know that in retail, when you use Internet of Things, big data, mobility, you have a combination of technology that's helping you, but there are a number of areas why you need to be alert. Number one, retail customer, when the customer is an online shopping, you want to be able to make sure that that shopper who does your brick and mortar plus online has the level of service that you promise that you deliver. So your online shopping customers are always tracked. Number two, your in-store sales. Customers are coming directly into your store. The level of customer service, how is it then managed? How is it handled? How do you know that's the customer who actually wants, who has bought? How do you then cross-sell and upsell in the same store, knowing that the customer purchased this before? The other one is the auto-replenishment I talked about just now. Real-time analysis of a business, not that the data is looked at it, then a week later somebody punches the data into another system or in an Excel, then you look at all the numbers. Doesn't work today. That was good for yesteryears, but not today. Today you have to act like this. The other one, of course, a retail expert. This is where you have the social engagement strategy with your customers, one-to-one marketing, very, very key in order to survive. If I take that into the next slide, this is what it will look like. That means you have your future retail is connected all the time with everybody, your customers, your employees, and of course, the business as a whole. This is very, very important to know where things are at any point in time. So the landscape has been changing and it's changing drastically. So you have to make the decision to think about it today. Let's move on. Let me tell you another one. This is your store is closed, but you have a mannequin. So it's a waste, right? If you can't make use of it, no one's working in the store. But what we can do, this is quite common in airports, quite common in places where there are live going on, but unfortunately stores are closed. So this particular slide shows you that the person can actually turn the mannequin around using the button there, the red and the blue. Once the person likes it and keys and wants to order it, there's a QR code, use the phone, snap it, and boom, the order is done. You see, you can capture customers even at this kind of attention. Next slide. I'm running very fast. You can even capture customers in the toilet. These days, men are very smart. They also spend a lot of time combing. I don't know much to comb, but a lot of people comb their hairs and do things. But look at the smart mirror. This smart mirror does two things. One, it creates coupons that a customer can snap and take it. Number two, promotions are there. Number three, the smart mirror plays advert for companies that have engaged with this particular retailer or this particular outlet or this particular outfit. And this outfit will say, I want to monetize now. So on the smart mirror, they will show you all kinds of adverts. And when the adverts are done, while the guy's looking, by the way, when the man or the woman is looking in the mirror, when he senses the heat, it automatically starts playing the advert. And when the adverts are played, they will then tell the company, today we played 7 times your advert, and this is our price that we charge you for, a great price, and here's where we monetize it. So again, you can utilize any space in the right way because the digital storm will allow you to do that. Next, please. This is common interactive shelves. I find that in some stores, and particularly in shoe stores, I find very common. Sometimes I do not have enough sizes, enough designs because the stores are small, but there are interactive shelves for you to actually go in, engage, and maybe place the order and start looking at it straight away. By the way, talking about shoe stores, I have this problem. When you buy shoes, how many times do you have to wait and the guy says, sorry, no size. He goes back in, takes a long time and come back and says, sorry, this one sold, I don't have it. And then goes back and you kind of lose interest. But if I had a mobile device that is connected to my inventory, and immediately I can tell the customer, sir, I don't have this style, I have this, but I have this in this color, would you want it? Or is this design? So you see the service level, the deliverable, the value add is so key. But that's very, very important, right? But not just in shoe store, in every other retail outlet for that matter. Let's move on. I talked about video and I say, why do you do it? The videos in the stores that take videos in the malls and all that. There are a number of things that you can take from that taking. Number one, it increased sales and opportunities. Number two, it improved in-store customer experience. Number three, the staff optimization, because you need to make sure the customer attention is there. Number four, you understand footfall, and more important, the traffic flow. No point doing a promotion in one area where there are no customers when everybody congregates somewhere else. You prevent privileges because cameras detect things, movements. Okay. You also prevent fraud transactions, for example. Customer safety, fall detections. And today we're so much key because there are cases where customers have fall. And it takes a while for somebody to come and pick the customer or to attend to the customer, and so on and so forth. Last but not least, very important point, you deliver a safe in-store experience during a public health crisis. So much key. Here's something I'm going to read to you. Why, when you digitize a business, this is so important. 5 years ago, let me read this. Someone sent you an email at 6 p.m. on a Friday and then asked you at 9 a.m. on a Monday. You have no reply. That was 5 years ago. Today, the same someone will send you a message on social media at 6 p.m. on Saturday and call you at 6:30 p.m. and ask you, why have you not responded? You see, the change of behavior of customers have now taken a different toll. So you need to be aligned with that. All right, next slide, please. There's a lot of talk about e-commerce. I'm going to be coming to my slides very quickly to end, so just bear with me, please. E-commerce and e-business. By the way, there's a difference between e-commerce and e-business. E-commerce is transactional, e-business is the systems. Just remember that. So why companies don't get it? Why some companies said, I've tried and I've failed? Some companies said, I'm doing it, but it's taken a long time. But let me just run some of those issues. Number one, understanding the business terrain. Because if you don't understand the business terrain, you cannot just jump into e-commerce and say, I want to make money because someone is making money. That's actually a hype. Please be very careful how you jump into e-commerce, right? Take a very careful step. Number two, it's a landmass, because when you do e-commerce, you do not know where you are going to be getting orders from. It's a landmass. So your delivery has to be tip-top. Number three, multiple islands. Here, I'm not talking about physical islands. I'm talking about different blocks, different states, different places that you need to do the delivery. So there are multiple islands consideration. Number four, your connectivity infrastructure. You may not have the IT, the connectivity infrastructure, or what we call the last mile reach with the customers and you in order to get that going. Number four, your cost of delivery versus your cost of retention. Number five, item versus delivery. If the item is going to cost you 5 ringgit, for example, it's going to cost you 20 ringgit to deliver, it doesn't make business sense. All right. Number five, there's also the digital divide, adaptability. Well, today we are fortunate because the huge internet penetration. So I would say this point is okay. I think we can safely say that in terms of digital divide, it is actually reduced. There's a lot of people with mobile phones on today. Number four, community and lifestyle changes. If you don't take into consideration, you cannot just jump in and say, I'm going to be successful in internet, because as I mentioned in my first slide, community and lifestyle has changed. Support systems. Your systems has to support the business infrastructure. No point getting grants or something that gives you an amount that you only can do so much. But what about afterwards? Where do you go with that? And that's going to be a huge issue as well. That's what I mentioned about funding. All right, next one. There are 5 top comments, global concerns. I'm coming to the end, so bear with me. Number one, there is an oversupply of everything except the customers. How true? We have everything that we want to buy is oversupply, but the customers are not oversupply. That's challenge number one. Two, retailers are not IT professionals, nor should they be. They should focus on their business. Many times I find in meetings and businesses, some of the C-levels are extremely involved in IT. And I think, well, good and bad. Good to know, but bad, you should draw a line and say, that's it. The rest is handled by people who are there to handle. I'm going to be focusing on the business. What is the one technology-related change that you would make in your space? I cannot say that. I cannot give you the answer. But think of one technology that you can use that will make that impact in your business. That's a concern because technologies, there are so many available today. How can I build on collective retail intelligence? I have all this data. I have tons of data. In fact, when I was talking to somebody who says, I've got 20 years of data, what do I do with it? How do I convert? How do I do this? I think the data is old, number one. Number two, I'm not sure what data will tell you now. Number three, it will take time to see because the data, whether they are reliable, whether they're accurate, whether they're dependable is questionable. So I think we need to do some years of data that you take, maybe the last couple of, or 3-4 years, look at it, sift through and pen it down to clean it up and then take it and move forward. Is that enable retailers to make connections through integration? Of course. Today with technology, integration is not the question. There are so many platforms integration that you can take and make that happen for you. What can I do to disrupt my business and where do I start? You start right now. I'm going to give you some slides afterwards if I could. In interest of time, I'll tell you what you can do and some of the challenges in digital transformation so that you can take that on board. Next slide, please. Onward thinking. The 5 trends of retail in 2021. Brands will sell experience on their online, offline stores and not just sell products. Today, people are brand conscious. No matter how big or small the brand is, they are brand conscious. So when you want to sell experience, use a brand as your catalyst. 2, the new technologies will make shopping reachable, easier, cheaper, and more convenient. How true? I mentioned that about the multi-channel just now. I showed you a slide. How true? Consumers will measure to interact with brands, and chatbots will become more direct to purchase new products. Very, very true. Chatbots are becoming, so do look at that very seriously. And even if you do not want to invest in a big digital, but look at chatbots to help you out, that at least you move some of your products out because you have excessive inventory, you have inventory that you left behind for the last 2 years because of the pandemic and so on and so forth. So use that way and means to try to get rid of it. All right. Brands will use augmented reality to market their products and harness the customer touch points. Everybody's trying to get the same customer. The pie is actually very small and the slices are very small. So everybody's after the same pie. More will turn towards hybrid model through the digital culture and technology revolution. How true? Here, let me tell you one truth. My dear friends, I submit to you, there is no such thing as the brick and mortar will disappear tomorrow. No. If you look at the US, if you look at Europe, brick and mortars, in fact, are more because there is a huge group of people, part of the society or customers that will still congregate in the stores. They will still go to the stores. But what will happen is, it's important that you get yourself into what we call a hybrid model, so that you have best of both worlds. You have your brick and mortar stores, you also have your internet, online sales, and so on and so forth, using that as a channel. So be on 2 channels because you want to capture customers who are familiar with channels that like your channels, and you also capture customers who come to your stores who wants to look and feel on site. So you have best of both worlds. All right. Take home points. Number 1. Am I too late to change, to embrace digital change? No, you're not too late. Number 2, will I struggle to adopt digital change? Yes, you will struggle at the beginning, but after a while, you'll be okay. What about the speed and magnitude of change? Don't worry about the speed. As long as you take the first step, you make that change, it will come to you. You will slowly get into the momentum. So don't worry about that. Can I reinvent my store experience with digital change? Of course you can. You can start looking at it right now in your brick and mortar stores. What else can you put in terms of the digital change? What about my staff, skills and talents required in digital change? That is very true because if you look at the, okay, you do not need a different set of skill sets for when you go into digitalization of your business. You need people who understand, who are trained, and these talents could be trained and revived. Of course, I recommend highly that you keep core team. The core team must be intact because if you find others who are trained, and this is an area where things will come and go, staff will come and go, there will be movement. So I strongly recommend and suggest that you keep a strong core team, but there will always be people that will be moving. But as long as you got your core team, you'll be all right. Let me read these 2 things very important before I end. One of them is digitalization has rocked the foundation of every industry. How true. Rewriting the rules of engagement I just mentioned, removing many barriers of re-entry, widening competition, and overturning business models. Absolutely true. This disruption, which exists at the intersection of widespread sociological, technological, and economic change, has been swift, at times very ruthless, because you've been in business for 10, 15 years, and suddenly your neighbor just comes down, sets up in less than a month, he's roaring in business because he's doing something in the digital storm. And it's really ruthless to see that your blood and sweat is still there, but someone just comes a month and boom, overtakes you. All right, so I'm just giving you the background scenario. So the future retail will not be about having a large variety of products. No, as it has been in the past, rather it will involve winning over customers with thoughtful curation of products and experience and innovations through the eyes of the customer. Something I'd like to tell you before I end the session. 1, never create a product that is purely based on imaginary. Because if you do that, the product will always remain imaginary. This is why sometimes you find people say, oh my goodness, the product was so nice. It's such a wonderful product. How come it's not popular? How come no one's buying? How come we are not getting sales into it? Simply because in today's world, we did not innovate the product through the eyes of the customer, but we innovated through the eyes of someone who thought it could make and bring fortune to the organization. And that was a mistake. So I just want to leave that with you. Now, I have one other slide. Joshua, do you have 2 minutes on this? Do I have 2 minutes? Joshua, you have 2 minutes more?
Yes, you do. Yep, go ahead, continue.
Okay, very good. Let me just give you some background if you want to digitize your business. And these are the points you can take, very, very important points. Let me quickly run through with you. Retailers of all sizes are faced with industrial disruption. I mentioned that. New technology, ever-changing customer needs, and they are so with outdated systems. That's the key. Retailers today have got a lot of outdated systems, inefficient processes, facing fierce competition, and that has now reached a tipping point. And it's a very, very, very painful decision you have to make. You carry on where you are and leave it at that, and perhaps at some point be not relevant, or you take that change and make that change in your business, on your digital transformation. But here are the challenges, let me tell you. Please remember that everything is not hunky-dory. Here are the key challenges for digital transformation. Number one, culture. Your organization culture has to look at that. Number two, your digital strategy and vision. Somebody must understand what's going on. How do I then take this business forward in the digital world? Your know-how and your IT systems, important to get that. Your organizational structure change. Your budget, your transformation budget, and clarity on the budget, how are you going to be spending, looking at what we call a TCO, total cost of ownership, in the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, so that you understand where you are. All right. The digital security is very important. The agility, the ability to have agile so that you can actually leap from one to the other. Very, very important. Your legacy systems, what you do with that. This is one very important. There's always what we call an employee pushback. Sometimes when you want to change, when you do, there are a group of employees who will say, yeah, boss, why you change? Yeah, look at that, we are using it so long, we already spent so much money on this. Use it, it's okay. Maybe next year down the road, we change the employee pushback. Have you come across this? No? Oh, maybe you guys are not experienced. Maybe I'm the only one that is experiencing this. Every time I go to a meeting, I get a lot of pushbacks. Okay? Very, very important. The other one, which is even more important, confusing messaging from service providers. They come and present systems, nothing wrong with that. But sometimes these guys don't understand the pain points, the issues that you're facing, the background knowledge of where you are, what you want to do. But they're coming with a solution to say, take this and it will do good in your organization. That's a wrong strategy. They must understand the terrain before you engage with them. All right. Challenges in retail consumer demands, very important. Retail price inflation, prices are changing, very, very important. Your communication, keep that going. Sustainability, how you keep your customers going. And last but not least, disrupt your business. All right. So on that note, I just want to keep it short and sweet, and I'm open to questions. Thank you very much, Joshua. And thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Stan. That's a very comprehensive sharing that we had, but obviously digitalization in the retail space definitely is going to change how people are going to definitely shop. I mean, he did mention that even the behavior of our own consumers has changed over the last 2 years, and that has made people realize that actually they can do a lot of things online. I mean, obviously with the pandemic that pushed the realization even more. All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Stan. Yes, I know that there is so much to absorb. I think Mr. Stan could have actually have the whole day to actually talk about this, but obviously due to time, we have to cut him short. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to Mr. Stan one more time, where he talked about the next frontier. Yes, the next frontier for our retail chain. Okay, so now let's talk about our next speaker. Our next speaker comes from a very, very vast experience, ladies and gentlemen, and is none other than Datin Patricia P, who is the founder and chief strategist officer of AFAB World Syndrome Berhad. AFAB is the developer of the newly rolled out fashion digital channel app, Reka. Reka is developed to democratize the fashion and artisan industries for independent designers and artisans of fashion, skincare, cosmetics, and homewares to embark to the global marketplace hassle-free. Designers and artisans can focus on creating while Reka takes care of global marketing and business networks together with them. Prior to AFAB World, Datin Patricia is also the founder of the Oomph. All right. Now, Oomph is actually the Malaysia's largest and the world's only outdoor digital company on street lamps posts. Her sense of innovation is based on foresight and insight of the particular industry forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Datin Patricia P, who's going to talk about the next wave fashion tech remaining relevant in the digital economy. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you please give her a virtual round of applause? Datin Patricia, it is all to you now. Oops, I think you're muted, Datin.
Thank you, Joshua.
All right. Okay.
Thank
all
you.
To you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to TM. Thank you to everyone here this morning and Huawei team for the coordination. And I just want to say this. I want to thank Mr. Stan because he did a fantastic opening for what I'm about to share. So it was really great. And he did mention a lot of things which I would not need to elaborate further. So let's start with what I want to talk about this morning, which is about digital revolution. Now, digital revolution are words that have been used for more than 2 decades, but nothing could have accelerated digital revolution as rapidly as over the past 2 years because of the COVID. So I guess this is the reason why we're all here today, to share our views and our ideas on how to remain relevant in the digital economy. Now, due to the prolonged lockdowns globally, businesses, especially retail, are facing extreme challenges trying to stay in business. But companies, social organizations, families, we are all enhancing our use of technologies in very unique ways to stay relevant and to stay connected. However, as what Mr. San has also mentioned before, consumers are actually embracing technology a lot more faster than companies could do. So thereby, in short, I would say that consumers today, they are more sophisticated online in how, who, and what they would want to engage with. But on the other hand, a lot of companies, basically, they actually jump onto the digitalization bandwagon without long-term vision, but also because of the huge FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out because of the lockdown uncertainties. So everyone had to do something. And that was the easiest way was to go into e-commerce. But the thing is, those companies, including a couple of retailers who have actually spoken to us, those who have invested time and money going down that route, and after almost a year, they are starting to realize that whatever that they envisioned, whatever that they expected from that digitalization of just implementing e-commerce did not come to fruition as what they expected it to be. So because consumers are more sophisticated now, online stores, platforms, or even mobile apps, if you are in retail, you cannot just offer e-commerce. You got to go beyond e-commerce to engage with the customers. So here's what the reality is. Retail digitalization, because of the growing sophistication of consumer behavior, is going to be all about content, about engagement. Now, what I'm going to share with you is an example of an app that we have been developing for over the past 3 years. Yes, it's 3 years. Now, during these 3 years, we actually took to develop some very innovative technologies within the app. That's number one. But more interestingly, I would say, is that we actually took that same amount of time to develop global strategies and very strong partnerships and alliances with the strategic organizations, so that when we roll out our app, we are very assured that this app is able to scale globally, because after all, digital is about going global. So let me just pull out the app that we want to share. Now, the app itself is actually called Reka. Now, if you look at it, we do not call this a mobile app. We actually call it a digital fashion channel. And down there, it says smart fashion worth buying. And I will explain to you why is the tagline smart fashion worth buying. But to start, I want to start with something very interesting. AI, artificial intelligence, how we deploy AI into a fashion mobile app. So let's have the video of the Reka technology, which is the AI virtual tailor. Can we play? Okay, first I want to show you this. This video is what you can see on the Reka app. It actually enables customers worldwide to take body measurements from their mobile devices. So in short, regardless of whichever country you are, you cannot use your phone or any tablets to take the body measurements and pre-order tailor-made to fit clothes from the designer of your choice. And these designers can be anywhere. So Reka, basically, this app is developed to democratize the fashion industry for the individual designers or individual entrepreneurs and artisan labels, which is the SME. And because SME and individual entrepreneurs, they have lesser financial resources to digitalize. So Reka, when we develop this app, it has to go beyond e-commerce. It actually has a complete network solutions of business as well as technology. So can we have that video again? So as you can see, on the right side of the screen, so the person, you just need to wear some tight fitting clothes with a clear or light color background and put your phone, and all the instruction is on the app itself. So the phone, how you position the phone and everything, it's all on the app. And you take it and you're done. Now, why do we do this? Because it is all about how to help the individual entrepreneurs, the small businesses, to become more efficient and to eliminate waste. When people are able to pre-order, that means they do not have to mass produce. When they do not have to mass produce, that means there's not going to be unsold inventory. And when there's no unsold inventory, there's no need to go on sale. And when there's no need to go on sale, and by doing these 3 steps before that, we are able to help eliminate textile waste. Now, actually, a lot of consumers, fashion lovers included, are not even aware that textile waste is the number 2 pollutant in the world after oil. So when we are able to use AI to provide this technology and encourage designers to actually make to order and consumers make to order, that means we empower the designers to do their business more efficiently, and we enable customers to actually have their clothes more individualized and more customized. So that's what it does. That's what technology and what AI can do on the front. But of course, on this app that we have, the AI do a lot more, like what Mr. San has already brought up, right? About the analytics and again, having all the data that companies can collect is meaningless unless someone in the company, there is talent in the company who knows how to make sense of the data and know as well how to use that data to make business sense. So that's what it is. So number 2, I want to bring up the second part of this app about what I mean by engagement. Content. You know, a lot of people, I think you have heard it everywhere, this phrase that content is king. But for us, community is content. Content is for the community. So what we mean by that is that when we want to engage with our customers on a daily basis, we cannot be selling things to them every day or just, wait for them when they want to come and buy something, then they go to the app. But what we do and build within the app is a channel where our customers can actually find the latest news or find who's the most follow the fashion influencers' latest news or the fashion industry's latest news in the Reka app itself. So the mobile app of what I'm trying to say is when it comes to retail, it definitely has to go beyond selling beyond e-commerce. And what we have done is that we actually even built in-app technology to help the sellers do their business better. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Our technology is way beyond that. And by the way, our app is actually going to roll out next month in a pretty big way. It's worldwide. So that comes to the third part that I've shared just now. Number 3, global alliances and business partnerships. Digital is about going global. So if we want to go global, you must have strategic partnerships with other companies, other organizations. Now, interestingly enough, and actually also it's quite an honor for us that Rika right now is a trusted digital platform partners. I think that's a spelling of partners wrong there. I'm so sorry. But partners that of Commonwealth Fashion Council and the Council of ASEAN Fashion Designers. The Commonwealth Fashion Council is an organization under Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth Charitable Trust. They encompass 54 countries of the Commonwealth and therefore is the largest fashion council in the world to cover that kind of territory. Now, the Council of ASEAN Fashion Designers, as you can see, there is an ASEAN logo there, is the first and only fashion trade council that is actually acknowledged by the ASEAN Secretariat. So with the partnership of these two organizations, what does Rika have? Rika have access to 62 countries because 2 countries in ASEAN are also in the Commonwealth. So we have access to 62 countries sellers. In short, we also will have access to 62 countries buyers. So this is the partnership. And with this partnership, again, they are part of the community and they will also be contributing the content to the newsfeed of the app. So we work this way because in the digital world, in the future, all companies, no matter how big or how small, fostering strategic alliances is very important because technology develops so fast and retail digitalization is going through extreme reinvention because consumers, number one, is becoming more knowledgeable online. And artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchain, as what Mr. Stan have mentioned, the 3 previously, are going to be changing a lot of what we do. But interestingly enough, even more exciting is this 2 other parts. The metaverse and NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and the economics of the metaverse. This is now already happening. This is the technology that is going to reshape our future, especially the future of retail businesses. So maybe some of you may not be familiar of it, but as we go in the next, I would say 6 months down the road, I think more and more of you will start to hear all about NFTs because there are already luxury labels that's already started using NFT in some of their things, their campaigns. But actually, what we do here is we're in the world, this is the real world business of what we're doing, which is the digital part of what we're doing now in AI, AR. But that's another whole economics of business in the metaverse. So that is another very interesting frontier that we will definitely be hearing a lot in the upcoming 1 or 2 years. So again, I want to keep my sharing very short because I feel that the most important thing for retail in digitalization is because of the complexity of technology, of developments, and the most challenging of all, seeking the right talent in technology deployment and implementation. It is best, perhaps, that retail should not just go on this route on their own, but they should seek strategic tech partnerships so that we can all avoid being lost in digitalization and waste time and money. And because again, I want to say digitalization, the bottom premise of it is that we want to stay sustainable and go global. That's what digitalization is all about. And thank you very much. I want to keep it short, or else I'm going to go on another hour about the metaverse economy.
That is really insightful. Thank you very much, Datin. It's such insightful thing. I think it's such a wow factor what you're having. I mean, looking at Reka, wow. I mean, looking at how technology has moved the retail, especially in the fashion industry, that is just phenomenal. I think I'm really looking forward to Reka. You mentioned it's going to be launched really, really soon.
Yes.
I would love to be attending it, or even virtually or physically when you launch it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a game changer, definitely, here in Malaysia.
Have your suit made by the Reka designers. It's going to fit perfect. And you're going to help to eliminate textile waste.
Fantastic. Yes, I think it's just a phenomenal thing what Datin is doing. And it also re-emphasizes what Mr. Stan was talking about, you know, the way things are changing and the way consumers are also thinking, and how retailers need to move on in digitalization. So yes, thank you very much, Datin, Patricia, and it is just a phenomenal topic that you just gave to us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd like to thank Datin. Give her a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We talked about the new next wave fashion tech remaining relevant in the digital economy. So yes, definitely, it's such an insightful thing so far. We had Mr. Stan, then we had Datin, Patricia P. Now, obviously, we would like to come to one part that everybody loves, okay, which is the lucky draw, okay? So this is the lucky draw, the first session that we are having, and we're giving out 5, okay? We're giving out 5 Unlock DX. So what is this Unlock DX? UDX is a comprehensive self-assessment tool enabling organizations to evaluate their digital transformation position, and comes with a personalized recommendation report from IDC. Now, remember I told you earlier in this at the beginning of our session, this is almost worth up to 10,000 ringgit each. I am not kidding you. You are going to be one of those lucky winners that are going to walk away with that. But before I go into that, please remember that only people who are attending today will be eligible to win this, okay? So that is one of the things. So here we go. If you are ready for the lucky draw, can you please do me a favor? Can you please type at the chat section, all right, or the tab there, type 1 and press enter if you're ready, because I need everybody to be present. Type 1 and press enter right now. Wow, go. Wow, suddenly everybody is awake. The numbers are coming in phenomenal. Wow, this person. Okay, here we go. All right. Yes, 111111. Okay, so I got a lot of ones. Here we go. Ready? Let's see who are the winners. We're giving out 5 away in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see. Here we go. We've got Karen Mark, Ramamuthi, Soryanarayanan, wow, and then Hing Zifong, Suraiti Yusnita, and Benti Yusuf. There's one name. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 names. I think we still have one more, if I'm not mistaken. We have still one more, or Mark Ramamuthi, Soriana Rayanan, Hing Zifong, and Suraiti Yusnita Binti Yusuf. I think we have one more later, okay? Maybe because the name was so big, that's why it took the whole frame. So we couldn't show the 5th person. Don't worry, we will contact you if you are the winner, or maybe later on my colleagues will tell me who is the 5th winner, okay? Who is the 5th winner. So don't worry, guys. We have your details. We will contact you. And if your name is there, yes, all right, we will contact you and you are the winner. So congratulations. Yay! Congratulations to all of you. You have walked away with the UDX worth 10,000 ringgit each. That is just phenomenal, guys. All right, so yes, that was our first lucky draw. Don't worry, we got a second one coming up. I won't tell you when, but you got to stick around, all right? Okay, so let's continue with our discussion for today. Embrace to survive the digital storm. We had Mr. Stan, and then of course we had Datin and Patricia. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the recap. Ooh, that will be very interesting. Okay, so yes, now we are going to two very handsome gentlemen that comes from a very well-known company. Definitely you all know them, okay? And they are going to be the duo. They're going to come side by side and they're going to talk about the adapting a new retail attitude and how cloud-based solutions transforming the retail sector. Okay, so we got two gentlemen. The first gentleman represents TM1 and is currently the head of innovative solutions and cybersecurity services in TM1, looking after the IoT industry, smart services and cybersecurity solutions for public sectors and enterprise customer segment. An experienced digital transformation practitioner with 26 years of demonstrated knowledge in telco and ICT business, which include research and development, network operation, go-to-market strategy, sales planning, product and partnership development. Now embarking to propel the innovative of state-of-the-art IoT, AI-driven smart services, 5G commercial use cases and cybersecurities. It is none other than Mr. Maznan Rahman, who is the Head Innovation Solutions TM1. Then, partnering with him is this gentleman called Ing Chiu Hyun, who comes with more than 15 years experience in the ICT industry. He possesses broad experience in the digital and ICT industry development, strategy and technology, business solutions development, digital transformation consultant. He is currently responsible on Huawei Malaysia Cloud and AI Business Group, covering Huawei Cloud, intelligent computing, AI portfolio, Huawei Partner, Cloud Incubator, developing vertical partner solutions supporting the industry focus, Malaysia SME Digital Onboarding Initiative. So ladies and gentlemen, both from TM1 and Huawei, as they're going to share on adapting a new retail attitude and how cloud-based solutions transforming the retail sector. Please help me welcome the duo, Mr. Maznan Rahman as well as Ing Chiu Hyun. Can you please give them a round of applause? Yay! All right, sirs. Yes, okay.
Hi, thank you, Joshua.
Hello.
How are you, everyone? It's a good context of setting the scene by Stan and also the thing Patricia. I think I agree with you, Joshua. Look forward for Reka, and I want to make a new. Jacket and blouse, but probably from SME
I think that
artisan
thing
designer.
you got four customers already.
You got 4 customers already. And by the way, Eng, how are you there?
Yeah, hi. I'm Masna. Nice talking to you guys. This morning session is great. And also thank you for Stan and with very details about cover up part of most of the topic. Thank you, Stan, so much. And also thank you for the team for participating in this. And what I want to mention about AFAP is because I would just want to share, I'm a Malaysian as well. I believe everyone on this chat on this morning, they're all Malaysians. And I want to proudly present that AFAP, this application is fully developed by Malaysians. So thank you and thank you to AFAP. Well done.
Thank you. We actually developed this it's a whole 100% Malaysian team. And AFAP is the world's first fashion app with a built-in AI virtual tailor, full body. So this is something that is really challenging when it comes to AI, because if it's just the upper body of especially the men's body, it's a lot easier because there's no curves. So that's but when it comes to the challenges was the fact that when we start wanting it to do it for both male and female, that's where the top as upper part and bottom part of the body, you have those curves. So but I want to thank Huawei. Huawei has also been very supportive, and also TM.
Thank you.
And then why I want to bring up this because everyone know that we are living together with the virus. This is our life that we can't change. And then matter of fact, when the Malaysia Selangor open up the border, people are start going crazy for the shopping. And then in my life, my wife actually faced a problem that she cannot went into the Jara fitting room. because due to hygiene and also due to COVID issue. So they have to buy the clothes back, and then they only can refund if they cannot be dressed. Then I talked to Datin, need help about this, how they're going to solve those clothes when they're returned to the outlets. So that's why I was looking into in the retail is very important, one of the piece and parcel on the part of GDP growth in Malaysia as well, and also how we can use a technology can not to replace but to enhance the user experience to the AI that we have today in this topic we're going to discuss. So I'm not ready to not to delay. Mazdan, you would like to start?
Yep. Let's put out this slide.
Yep.
Let me share. Can you guys see the screen now?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes.
Yep.
So the way we're going to do this, it's going to be a knowledge sharing, I would say. It's not going to be a lecture, but I do appreciate the way Stan do a very comprehensive coverage on the topic that we're going to discuss. We will touch more on the technology, how we can enable those ambition or perhaps your blueprint or your strategy when you wanted to do smart retail or digital retail, and what sort of a new attitude that we are talking here. I think Datin has touched on that, how the partnership is so important for us to go not only local and globally. So that's basically the premise or the context that our sharing will be, covering. And at the start, I guess this is the way we live now. I mean, we're coming from the so traditional way of doing retail, where this is the typical way how our salesperson will, check the inventory and then do the stock keeping and then stock checking, which product that sells more, and perhaps wanted to contact the supplier to get more orders on that. And it's so manual, okay? And then we go into the modern retail, whereby we start employing or using some form of automation, some form of computerized system or application, but it's not there yet because it's still a huge gap where we cannot integrate the whole ecosystem. And in the next generation of retail where we are living now, we start seeing the combination of physical and online, where we call this as hybrid. And Stan and also Datin has touched a bit on that. I guess this is where the new approach or the new attitude that we wanted all the retailers or industry players out there start to believe in this. You have to start doing it now, otherwise other people are going to disrupt. Okay. Perhaps Eng, you wanted to talk a bit on this, or we touch more.
Yeah, just give a touch on the these are the evolution from the retail, as I think most of us is Malaysian. If you know that from the early 50s, those are actually traditional retails, privately owned, and their requirement is pretty much low. And then the business moving into their regular business is about business expansion, making more branches, and then also look into their supply chain management. But when going to a modern retailer, this is where the supply come into demands that people require more choices, more things. I can give you an example. Like I think everyone heard about macro. If I review macro means I review my age. But where are macro now today? So these are changes really. People are more into like moving to even more smarter retailer or choices. Then next is to be Mazan. You're going to talk about e-commerce on your side, right?
Yeah, this is where the transition starts shifting the way how retailers serve their customer and how the consumer or the buyer start have an option to buy the things that they used to get it from physical store. So if you can see from the key characteristic, it's going to be internet based, and the way the customer or the consumer might be doing, they will go and get the information from online and perhaps go to the physical store just to buy the goods or the things that they wanted to consume. And this also involves not only business to consumer, but rather supplier to the retailers and the consumers. It's a B2B2C business model, and it involves the end-to-end ecosystem from the manufacturer, logistic, warehouse, delivery, and the storefront itself. And like Stan mentioned earlier, it involves a lot of data points where we need to analyze those data points to understand how to serve better, how to understand the buying patterns, and how to make a lot of profit out of that. And of course, the innovation required to cater for this type of evolution is the impulse buying. Okay, sometimes it does appear on my Facebook screen, those advertisements that out of nothing, then suddenly I see wow, this is so interesting. And I start going to Shopee or Lazada to find more about the product. So that kind of impulse buying we can do over e-commerce. And of course, we are living in digital economy or digital lifestyle. So the digital native it become more prominent as a customer or consumer would do the decision before they even buy. So the next generation of retail, of course, we need to embrace or do the multi-channels and omni-channel. Stan has covered that. And we're going to use a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning driven recommendation or recommender, both for consumers and also for retailers. All right. Then we're going to use a lot of cloud-based because we're going to use application, whether it be from our mobile devices, desktop, or any devices for that matter. So it need to be served anytime, anywhere. So a lot of platform will be developed over cloud. And this is need to be multi-tenant, subscription-based. You pay only for what you are consuming or using. So you're going to be a very flexible business model. And the most important thing, Stan also covered on this, it has to be integrated. Otherwise, you will have a multiple system. You won't get the objective will be realized. The TCO will be wasted, and a lot more things if not integrated. So yes, the innovation comes from the flexible business model and also serving the digital customer experience. So why we need this new attitude in retail or digital retail economy? First, we know that for the fact that increasing e-commerce sales during the pandemic. Ang also mentioned about how his wife started consuming things or buying the clothes, take it home, and then if it's not fit, then need to return the store, and then that's how Reka fill the gap. And then you can see out of the whole population of ASEAN, 16.5 million are online. So if we don't have this channel to serve this market or this customer, you basically will lose that opportunity. And secondly, technology is shifting the way how mall management retailers manage their KPIs. So this also need a different attitude to attempt or to tackle for this type of challenges and opportunity. And like Stan also mentioned, it's not necessarily brick and mortar stores will close shops. In fact, they will grow more, but how to complement those gaps or challenges that the physical store cannot address utilizing the e-commerce channel. And secondly, we can also see why we need this new retail attitude or digital retail attitude, because we need to understand the data. Because like the earlier speakers have shared, if you understand what's actually happening, how the consumers start, decide before they even buying your goods or your products. And with this real-time information, you can do a quick and accurate decision making. Okay, and then the data platform the influx of data that coming onto your stores. Now you can host it and put it on the cloud, and all the dashboard, the artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and algorithm can help you to churn out the insights, what you need to do with that information or data. And of course, we know that we have like a lot of type of customers from the age group, from their buying preference or interest that they may have. All this customer behavior, we need to also understand to better serve them, and then to make sure that all the things that we are doing for our business are relevant to the market. So at TM1, definitely we need to chart this journey, the digital journey, to understand how best we can offer our solution. Stan also mentioned just now, as a service provider, we cannot just shove or put the product that we have or technology that we have and expecting customer will gain the benefit out of it. We need to understand what are actually the pain points, the challenges, the problem that they face, and probably with our technology, our platform, and the solution that we have, we can help to cater for the digital customer journey. Of course, we are looking in terms of the online experience, physical experience, and coupled with the back-end services from the inventory management, the warehouse, and the logistics to help the retailers to better manage your operation, to avoid unnecessary wastages in terms of the supply that you have to put in your warehouse or inventory before you put on the shelf for customer to consume. So all this can be integrated in a cloud platform. So this is where our collaboration with Huawei to come up with a better solution to serve and to help the retailers to address these demanding needs of the market. So if you can see from this illustration, we need to understand who are our customer. With the advent of ICT, big data analytics, cloud platform, cybersecurity, we can have this information at our fingertips. All the data visualization start from the customer entering our shop, and then what actually attract them more. They are walking through certain aisles or sections. We know that behavior. If you have like a camera to capture those movement, we can do the analysis and understand better in terms of the preferences. And we also can understand and capture their experience when they are in our store, how long they've been in the store, and what actually they are doing. And then, of course, when they start buying, we can know exactly the goods or the product that they are selecting, and then how frequent those products be consumed and bought by our visitors. And we can also offer a loyalty program on top of that. All these experiences or customer journey, now we can do it digitally and effectively, and we can also look into the archive to do a predictive analytics on what sort of services or product that we can offer to our future customers. In terms of the key elements of digital retail or smart retail, there's four main components. The first, we need to understand the traffic, the customer that coming to our store, be it a physical store or online store. So this is where we know the behavior, the preferences, the things that they like to do before we even come up with a better offer or campaign. And secondly, from the user experience itself, the customer experience, this is where we wanted to have a repeat customer that going to buy over and over again at our stores or our shop. So we can offer some kind of a reward or loyalty program, understand their buyers' preferences and journey, and to offer a more simplified way and intuitive buying experience over perhaps a mobile, e-commerce, and also storefront better experience. Because we know that at the bottom of the slide, you can see from the cost management point of view, if we know for the fact what actually triggers the buying interest from our customer, we know and we can provide a better product for them, focus on things that sells faster and increase in terms of our way how we serve better our customer. And of course, at the heart of this digital key elements of the smart retail, we need technology to support all this solution. This is where the innovation coming from the AI analytics, IoT and robotics, cloud software and platform, and also the cybersecurity safeguard of this information and infrastructure. So how actually cloud can help or enable this to help the new attitude in digital retail? So imagine that you are managing the whole retail architecture, and with a single cloud-based platform, you can manage end-to-end ecosystem, and this will differentiate you from other competitors or other businesses that not embarking yet into digital retail. So basically, it's coming from physical interaction and also online interaction, where all this information and activities will be stored and processed in the back-end system in the cloud. And then those data aggregation will also churning, keeping all the information about the customer profile, their shopping behavior, interest, and spending data. And then later on, you can also push this information onto your third-party application to do some decision making and data processing. This is how cloud can help to transform from your traditional retail business into a more modern and next generation digital retail. And in terms of the smart retail solution that we have developed, we have a lot of solutions that cater for both physical and online experience. Basically, start from data acquisition, and then how we can do the analytics based on, let's say, the customer go to the physical store. We can enable the Wi-Fi analytics because most of people carrying mobile devices that have this Wi-Fi that we can detect their movements in the store. And And then from that engagement, we can have more in-depth data collection to utilize and visualize the data and to really see in terms of the buying pattern behavior for us to understand how actually we should be putting the solutions and also the product in our store to serve better our customers. And of course, from the dashboard, this is something that we wanted to see and to appreciate in terms of the behavior of our customer when they purchase our product in our online store or physical store. So you can start looking in terms of who are the premium shoppers, provide them with a loyalty program or some form of things that you can treat them differently from the normal shoppers. And then you can also know that what's actually they are doing when they start their buying experience or transaction. So we can also know that from the gender, if you put camera, because we have that solution, basically we know unless you do some transplant that we cannot guess whether you are male or female, but we know we can differentiate female shoppers and male shoppers to understand what's actually your buying behavior and patterns. And then from that, we can also serve better our customers. And of course, you can also look into the brand or the specific products that we put in our stores. So this will help in terms of how we can interact with our suppliers and give them the correct feedback, sort of things that they need to improve, perhaps from their product enhancement and whatnot. So this can help how we can differentiate from the way we do our traditional retail operation compared to digital retail. Of course, again, this need to be integrated into a single platform. This is how cloud can help us to combine all these different systems into one single platform for better management and better visualization, and for us to know how to correlate those data points to have a greater understanding of the operation, the buying behavior, and also how we should look in terms of better targeted campaigns and whatnot. So in the heart of the solution, of course, we have also supported some software system. If you're familiar with RPA, robotic process automation, we can also use RPA for retail industry. For instance, we have also a solution for invoicing. We know that invoicing nowadays, if you don't have any system, it's a lot of manual, paper-based document that you need to treat with, and then it involves also large volumes of invoices. So the solution with RPA, we can replace those manual intensive process utilizing digital workers. If you can see from the bottom of the screen, so the digital worker can start process the invoicing coming from email, okay? And then they can change that into invoice data using OCR, and then straight away pump in those information into your ERP, and then send emails notification to respective stakeholders. So with this RPA, it can reduce the overall processing time, depending on the complexity of the process, 5 minutes to 30 seconds per invoice. So it will save 160 hours in a month, depending on your. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I think that's normal when we live in digital age and work from home. Let me share again my slide. I'm not going to start it all over again. Hopefully we cover most of the things that I wanted to share. Yeah, I think I've shared on robotic process automation a bit for the retailers, how you can utilize software robot to automate some of the mundane tasks or repetitive tasks that previously probably being handled by human. And this can be done not only from invoicing, inventory management, and also supply and delivery processes. So you will save a lot of time. You will eliminate those mistakes or things that normally human will do, and it improves in terms of your overall operation. And TM1 also have this smart map where we develop in-house that can also help you to do a proper or better planning, especially in Malaysia, compared to other map systems that you don't have this detailed information like we do. We also can help you if you were to open a new store, a new branch, with the information that we have in terms of the household, the crowd mapping, the product count, point of interest, population, demographics. It will help you to understand where should you locate your new branch. And also we can have a lot of information to have to do the retail analytics utilizing TM1 Smart Map. All in all, the data analytics platform that we hosted in cloud TM1 Cloud Alpha will provide you not only the world-class infrastructure in terms of the completeness of the offering, starting from the data collection into the data visualization. And we also have the industrial best practices to help you to get best out of breed things that are state-of-the-art solutions. And also we can manage this on behalf of you. Like Stan mentioned, you focus on your business, let the technical geeks do their stuff and help you to gain the benefits. And yes, this is basically, we are living in a data, journey or data intensive world. We cannot run away from analyzing the data sets to help us to better manage our business. Next, I would love Eng to share a bit on the Huawei experience. How they do the retail business in China and part of the world that could also help us for our retail industry in Malaysia. Over to you, Eng.
Thank you, Masnan. Thank you, guys. Well, I think previously, as you see, Masnan share some of the study market and also numbers about the overseas, but we seldom able to see what is happening in China. So from here, we can actually see since 2017, in China, retailer, they are moving tremendously fast and in a very high speed. And traditionally, you can see from our morning section, we'll talk about fashions, we'll talk about foods. But in China, they are moving into more further. They are talk about cars. They are talk about second-hand car market. They are talk about new car launchings. They're also looking to let people have a better visual, rather than go to the showroom to see the car or to see the design. They can actually able to enjoy online with the VR virtual reality using the new VR goggles or AR augmented reality setting up on their phone or on their computers today. So the first thing that China did is they are swapping away. There are three ways in China they do. First is the department store. I think department store in Malaysia, we pretty much know. I'm not quite sure if you guys know Subang Parade. Those are large department store, but they are now slowly phasing off. Then in China, they already phased off already. Forward in the second swipe is a various retailing format coexist in the entire retail industry. Like you have a supermarket, convenience store, and also shopping mall. This is what happening in Malaysia. As you can see, places like My News, KK Mart, Speed Mart, Family Mart, and then into this kind of mart, they're entering into those large department store. Like, if you can understand, in Malaysia we have pavilions. Now we have pavilions too. Not large department store. They bring all the supermarkets into it. Okay, but in China, they are moving even more faster. They have e-commerce platform with a second half of new retail. What does it mean is because it's something like you have able to see the physical store in today in Malaysia. In China, they does have the same thing as well. But at the same time, they always keep up to date and posted to their followers in online. So which all these people can able to do virtual shopping online or physical shopping online, that actually looks the same experience as of today now. And then they are very emphasizing of experiencing center. For example, let's say I want to buy a TV from Harvey Norman in Garden or Mid Valley. I would like to know how this product would. Then I would like to, before I buy, I can go to the experience center to look at the product that I buy online. You see, why they can do that is because when you can click online, basically your online system already know where you stay, who you are, and then what is your budget that you have, what is a purchasing historical, do you only buy the TV, do you need a hi-fi audio system for your new house? They already have all this information on before you reach the shop. So this is what China do. So when you walk into the shop also, the salesperson actually know who are you. It's the best part. Later I will show how they do it. So in terms of the green color chart, you can look at it. This is the actually in trillion. Okay, the units in trillion. Since 2030 is 1.9 trillion renminbi. Now as of today, 2020 on the end is about 10.8 trillion. Are the transaction online in China as of today now. And then the green color dotted line is the growth of the ratio since 2013 until 2020, and it's 29% growth at the moment. And I believe that this is also the same trends happening to Malaysia as well. Believe me, yes. As you can see, a lot of people now focusing in terms of logistic solutions, smart warehouse solution as well. You can see now in the market that people are doing all these things, and also smart storage, which for those cold, hot, and normal temperature storage for those people call order to home or apartment on condo, whereby they do not want to have close contact with the people. So this is also due to we are actually living together with the COVID and in this environment, and this all the thing was being started implemented as well. So you can look at the trend in the online e-commerce platform is moving fast, and on the 2014 Q1 until 2017 Q2, Tianmao is one of the online largest store under the Taobao. If you want to do a lot of shopping, you know that. And Tianmao spend a lot of those kind of online store experience as well. And we have one in Malaysia we call Taobao. Taobao Experience Center is also available in KL today. So all this experience is starting to bring over to Malaysia now. Why? Because today when you buy the e-store other than fashion, it's about look and feel where you like it, your body sizing, then you buy. But a lot of men's hobbies, I call it men's hobby, they love to buy gadgets, but they want to know how this kind of gadget works for them as well. So they need to go to touch and experience it. And then moving forward, I think there's a lot of like Facebook, those live videos. People like to promote their products online in Facebook as well. And these are all the trends coming up. And then incoming now, all these e-commerce platforms that I know one of it is ibeli.com in Malaysia brand as well. Actually connected to Shopee and Lazada, but not only that, they are also having a live product ambassador to share with you how to use their product. Okay, this is actually not something new. If you guys see about last time we have a so-called TV advertisement show. People just talk about show on the TV. They just bring this into the social media, bundling with the e-commerce platform. That's it. And then the sales of the product going very well because you get the attention of the buyer. First of all, you can group the interest of the people that you have. Then you filter off all this customer online, and then you can actually do a push pull of recommendation engine through the AI backend when you have any similar product launching by this so-called product ambassador. Are the things people are start doing in China now. And if you do really good into it in China today, the car reseller secondhand shop work closely with the car repair shop, including car modification, body spray shop, and also accessory shop in China. I don't think it's called 4-star. It's more than 4-star. They can give you end-to-end to advise you what will this worth for you to own this car or buy this car, or you have a better option with a slightly more budget. You can own something better than that. So the sales is being transformed into both offline and online. So you study something online first, then you do some create, and then during online, there's a person to help you assist you. Then they can bring on site to see things you want. This is a full end-to-end experience to secure a customer deal. The success rate is almost 80 to 90% of the success rate on the sale. This is something in China. Okay, next, Mother.
Okay, thanks, Eng. I think Joshua, how's the time? Whether we have like few minutes more? I guess the rest we can just wrap up from our side. Eng,
Yeah, maybe I can give you another 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, just give me 2 to 3 minutes.
There's a lot of perhaps this one, the intelligent recommendation, Eng, a bit on here, then we can just wrap up.
Okay. When on my side, actually more into the AIs. How the cloud with that we have this AI platform in Malaysia, which is sitting in TM1 data center today, and to leverage on the AI today. How we do this metadata, we call it data lakes, to crunch the data that we have from the online, and with the developer to that is onboarded, as also few of the partners that we have working today closely, and also we together with Masnan team on the vertical industrial side, how we leverage all these tools at the cloud to help people to extract information that is useful in order to tailor make for the productions and also for the manufacturer and also for the retailer to uplift their sales in the market, and then also of the market trending. So this is basically the overall the engine that is available in current in Malaysia that you have today, and also to tell that the transformation actually just need some steps to start up with, and then from there, once you pick up, you will love it. This in a common layman terms, that the solution that we have today, like including heat map, including IoT, RFID, Bluetooth connectivity, all these devices are trackable, and as long as it's in place in a proper manner, and with all this technology today, we can able to living together
Please
with
share
the
all
virus
these
that we have
samples,
with
green
lower
screen
social
samples, your backstage pictures of yours, like
yeah, I'm so sorry, yeah. And also to reduce down the complexity of the installation, and also to onboard of the digital transformation, because some people may not understand that it may be very costly. It's actually not. It's not costly. You can actually start from small scale, like for example, start from a digital code, like your digital price tag. These are something that is available here today in Malaysia, so that when your product on the shelf is put it on place, then your price tag is actually automatically switched based on the barcode or the QR that you have been scanned on the rack. And this is actually all automated today, and moving forward on the technology part. And then I think any page I need to present.
Yeah, I
Master?
think
That's all right.
that's
Yep.
about it, because like I said earlier, we can have a session and understand your challenges, or perhaps your strategy to transform the way you do things previously. Huawei and TM1 can help you to enable those action plans, I would say. And we are more than happy to listen more. Of course, we have a lot of solutions out there. We cannot cover just like in a 1 hour slot, but we would love to have further session with all the retail industry players out there, and with Stan and also Datin. Perhaps we can also look forward in terms of translating those example use cases that we can see the market now. You mentioned about NFT that is happening now. Those people start selling things utilizing NFT, blockchain infrastructure, and how actually we can also help our retailers in Malaysia to translate and utilizing those advancement in technology. So I think Joshua,
Yeah.
that's my parting words. Perhaps one few last word from you, Eng, before we give it back to Joshua.
I would say that we are here actually to give you the directions and also way of how the retail going to transform in a way of new business adoptions, but not limited to fashion, but also including for food as well. Our car, vehicle automations, cosmetic products. These are the things that was previously sitting in the retail, that it can be actually go online as well. And then also to increase by your product awareness and so your branding and your service quality online. I think when all these go online, things are going to be very transparent, and people can just open up media and complain you via Facebook today. I think it's a very good platform to have, also a very genuine platform for the future consumer, and that you're able to smart consume, rather than pay expensive but a very good fair price and a very decent services given to the end user as well. And this is, I'm trying to tell, the technology does have available today to help the retail today.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Joshua.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Yes, that was another in-depth discussion between the two gentlemen. I know that we had some technical issues, so sorry about that, but I hope that everybody is back here with us and enjoying the rest of the session. So welcome back again for those who have joined us. Welcome back to the Embrace to Survive the Digital Storm. So once again, we'd like to thank our duo, our two gentlemen, Mr. Masnan Deraman from TM1, as well as Mr. Eng Chiu Hian from Huawei Cloud Malaysia. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Round of applause to all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so once again, I would like to remind you that there is a Q&A tab at the bottom. Okay, there's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. If you do have any questions, please do write it there. If not, please bear with us, because if we don't get to answer your questions, we will try our very best to answer your questions offline, okay? Offline. So all you need to do is to give us the name of one of the panelists that you'd like to address this question to, and of course, your email address. We'll try our very best to get back to you, okay? So that is one of the things that you need to do. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's start the Q&A. I've got some questions that have already been given in the Q&A tab, and one of them is actually to Mr. Stan. And Mr. Stan, it says here, now that our business strategy is can I jump and start now in the middle, now that our business strategy is currently underway? Okay, I'll repeat the question again. Can I jump start now in the middle, now that our business strategy is currently underway?
Thank you for the question, Josh. A very important question. I think the answer is yes, but not an easy yes, but a difficult yes, because when you already have got, perhaps I'm not sure whether there's, depends on the strategy, whether there's money investment, there's time investment that has gone earlier into putting that into perspective. But having said that, obviously, you could break away and say, okay, if you're going to bring a digital strategy, overlay that, and what will happen? But this is where I think they will probably need advisory from the people in the business, the service providers, for example, the vendors, so that they can actually have a discussion point. And you can also say that maybe we can draw a line from perhaps at this juncture, I will call it, and then we will introduce that to overtake that. Not an issue, not an issue.
Okay, so yes, so you can, but of course there are certain challenges that you have to go through, certain hoops that you have to jump around as well. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Stan. Okay, how about a question to Datain Patricia P? Obviously nothing to do with Reka in a sense, because everybody's so happy that Reka is going to come on board really soon. But the question here is, do you think the customer will easily accept the tailor-made clothing, because fast fashion has been in the fashion industry quite some time? Okay, I'll repeat the question because it's quite long. Do you think the customer will easily accept the tailor-made clothing because fast fashion has been in the fashion industry quite some time?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Joshua. Just want to address this first of all, Mazdan. I didn't know that you're into NFTs. So yes, I am into NFTs as well. Okay. Now this is the culture moving forward. The younger generation, they are about NFTs. And the reason why people buy NFT is because each and every single NFT is a different trade. So this is their behavior now. They're thinking, the Gen Z and the later millennials. So why is it that the pre-order tailor-made clothes, it's better? Because number one, especially in the Western side of the world, where they are more conscious and aware about textile waste, slow fashion is the new word. It's like the new black, okay? Slow fashion is the in thing now. So the reason why that is case is because there is a need to make the global fashion industry more sustainable. So all this waste, I'm not sure whether if y'all are aware, but all the landfills has no more space for our throwaway clothes. And because of fast fashion, and also the mass-produced disposables, people actually buy clothes that they don't even wear, and then they just throw it. They buy it because it was cheap. And then a lot of times they don't wear it, or they wear it one time and then it discolor or whatever, And that's it. So it ends in all these landfills. And then now all the landfills are practically filled up. So that is just one part. But the most interesting thing is when we look at the consumer behavior moving forward, when people are already into NFT, and the reason why they are into that is because people just love things that is individualized, customized for them. So yes, it might take a little bit longer, but that's what makes pre-order tailor-made more special, because it's tailor-made for you. So of course it's got to take a little longer, but that is the acceptance of the mentality of consumer moving forward.
Yeah, I think when we have something that is custom made for ourselves, we will appreciate it more, and we'll keep it more, and we'll definitely look after it. So that is something definitely we will learn how to appreciate. And of course, like you mentioned earlier, the next generation and the generation after us will start to appreciate better in terms of, customization, tailor-made and all that. Yeah. Also, you brought up a very good point. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to add one more thing. NFT drop. Okay, our company is actually developing a second platform already, which is what I mentioned earlier. Fashion economics, the fashion industry in the metaverse. This is huge industry that people are not very aware of. How big is the gaming industry? How big is the skins in the gaming industry? That is fashion. So a lot of people are still not aware, because when they talk about fashion, they just think it's about physical fashion, but the virtual world fashion, that industry, that economy is exponential. So this is why we're so excited, because end of the year, we're going to drop an NFT whole fashion collection on NFT with the Commonwealth Fashion Council. And it's going to come with NFT and the physical goods as well.
Yeah, as you can see here, Datin Pratisha is very, very, very happy and also enthusiastic about Reka. So yes, I think all of us here are. We really are looking forward to Reka. So hopefully we also can join with you. And of course, make a big hoo-ha about Reka at the end of the year. So fantastic. All right, so it's now to our two gentlemen,
Josh,
from
sorry,
Tier
Josh.
1 as well as Huawei. Sorry, did someone want to say something?
Yes, Josh, it was me, Josh. Please forgive me, gentlemen, and Datin as well. I just wanted the 4 points just now. I kind of slipped my mind, but can I just throw the points in, the questions that you asked in the first one? The 4 points that I missed out is that if they want to change jumpstart in the middle, there are 4 areas they need to look at while they're doing it. One is they're changing the business model that they have to take into account, number one. Number 2, they have to make sure that there's a change in the business process as well. Very, very key. Number 3, I think there has to be the organization domain transformed, because culturally the leadership has to take into account that if I'm going to make that change, then people must follow suit. Very, very important. Because it will have a cultural shift impact, there will be digital thinking and the digital data that's going to come into the business. So all that factor have to come in the so-called yes that I said just now. Sorry, I didn't mention it. Go ahead.
No problem. Okay, so yes, as you can see, Mr. Stan has a lot to share. So yeah, I don't think one session like this is sufficient enough. Maybe hopefully we can have another one soon with Mr. Stan as well. Okay, so back to the duo that we have with us from TM1 as well as from Huawei. And the question goes like this. Some organizations may view smart services as something that is good to have, especially in this challenging pandemic-laden business environment. Is there a real return to investing in smart services? Okay, so I guess the question is there a real return to investing in smart services?
Can I take this question, Eng? I think this is
Go ahead,
to my portfolio, I guess. And then perhaps you can chip in some ideas as well. I think a good question coming from, I guess this is a real customer. This is a standard question that we receive. The product portfolio that we are building, IoT, and AI-driven solution, it's nice to have, I would say, solution. Perhaps you can still live without smart services, right? But of course, underlying challenges or objective that we wanted to put forward when we created these solutions is actually to do more, do better, improve efficiency, gain in terms of new opportunities to get more revenue perhaps when you tap into those underserved market or things that you never done before, like what Reka wanted to do. So of course, if you're satisfied with the current status quo, that's it. That's the only thing that you can expect from your business, right? So we need to keep on innovating. When you put innovation, you can't run away from smart services. So that's first understanding or mindset shift that our customers need to put in and believe in. Secondly, you need to understand, like Stan pointed out earlier, what would be the key critical things that you wanted to shift or to change to get the immediate benefits out of the solution itself. Of course, coming from the service provider, technology enabler, we can bring, I mean, the world best solution. But again, if it's not tackling the underlying objective that you wanted to have for your organization, there you go. You will feel that this is just nice to have smart services that not solving my real problem or things that I wanted to have. The third thing, I guess, you also need to understand the disruptive notion of our environment that we live today. Start worrying about the new digital economy, the metaverse of things that, I mean, that Patricia did give you some cue or hints what's going to happen in the next few years. If you don't start implementing those smart services, AI-driven solution in your organization, be it retail, government sectors, or anything, you will start losing this piece of cake or share of cake in this new digital era or digital economy. So I guess it's coming back to, do you understand the purpose, the mindset, the things that you don't really see before that you can tap into? Those actually will drive better in terms of the usefulness of smart services. And
Yeah. Well, for me, is you are asking. I mean, I use a very layman back to very basic. Everyone know October 1st is the first launching of iPhone 13. How many of you is planning to buy? It's a smart device. Will your iPhone charge sufficient to cater for your needs? I believe yes. But yet, why people still pushing a lot of hope to get the new phone? And in China, people are queuing up a long queue just to get a new phone, iPhone 13. Well, there are two improvements from the phone. There's one additional camera from 2 to 3 camera lens now, and additional with a more stronger power battery pack. And people are spending RM 5,000-6,000 to get a iPhone 13. So, in terms of return on investment, I look at one of your Facebook give a very good comment. If an iPhone worth 5,000, you divide it by 2 years of your lifespan, and up averagely per day is only $10. Is it worth for investment? Where this convenience bring you to places that you want to know, information that you want to hear, songs that you want to listen, movies that you want to watch. So when you invest a smart devices into your business today, that if they can bring value to you, is this dollar and cents that you so-called TCO across the 2 to 3 years lifespan that can bring the value to you that you unforeseen? I would say yes, it's a good investment. Or else I will still using Nokia 310. Am I right, guys? So the technology smart is there. There's a reason people don't just implement it for nothing. I think today, Reka itself implemented the AI with the object body fitting measurement. It's a reason because that some people may not want to be touched because of sensitive, because of people will treat it as harassment, or I do not know. But in the modern world, everyone holds a handphone, and then you can do selfie yourself. I think that picture itself that you took is enough to measure your physical body size and weight. I know, just a very high level measurement. So I would say investing in the smart services and the smart devices is a needed when you're moving towards with living this world with the virus there, and things is going to touchless base, but rather than more into camera lens and AI behind the scenes. And then if you do not want to upgrade the thing, then you may just fall back to the technology that people are doing even faster than you. And this is how the China works today. They are getting, like, for example, in Malaysia only start doing 5G, but in China, anything starting 5G, the government is spending money to invest 50%. As soon as you touch 5G, they will invest 50%. This is how the thing looking forward. And then I believe that the government also putting a very strong and aggressively in Malaysia as well, pushing for the 5G as well. And these are all the smart things that is going to hook up with 5G. And I believe, yes, the future investing on the smart devices in terms of your return on investment, yes, there is.
Yes, definitely. Technology is going to be a very big part of our lives, especially. I mean, right now with the pandemic, it has accelerated it like crazy. And then, of course, we got, hopefully one day, unicorns like Rika, maybe. We'll never know. So, yeah, so this is one of the things that definitely we are looking towards. And of course, Malaysia is also, we are trying our very best. But of course, we still got a long way to go. I mean, what Mr. Ng said, China is like way ahead of us. But anyway, we are still in the right direction. So that's fantastic. And that's why we have this kind of discussions to actually educate people and making sure that everybody is together in the same page so that we all can push the retail industry as well. All right, so time is against us. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. But I would love to give you the last say before we end this session. So I would like to give Mr. Stan. Mr. Stan, would you like to say anything? Maybe I'll just give you like 30 seconds to say
so
it.
much. Thank you so much. I think if I would just take 1 minute of time to say something very important. People always get the feel that they will make mistakes and they will worry that they might go the wrong way. So my argument to that would be take the train. Look at the train. If you jump on the train, you go into the wrong station, come back, retract, and restart your journey. As long as you are in control, you can always pick up the pieces and move on. So nothing to be afraid of. By the way, I submit to you, you will make mistakes. And don't take it that you're not going to make mistakes. You will make mistakes, but it will be a learning curve for you so that you can take that to the next level and get to a better place. That's my advice.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Stan. How about Datin? Do you have any last words to our viewers today?
Yes, thank you, Joshua. Basically, as what we do, we love to innovate. So I truly encourage Malaysians. We got to step out of our comfort zone and really start true innovations, because like we said, innovation is putting ideas in motion. So if you have some really creative ideas, do not just be afraid, but you got to step out of your comfort zone, think out of the box and get that ideas into real action. And it make a change. And seriously, this is what we want to do with technology, that it will make a change to better our lives. That's all.
Thank you, Datin. Of course, the two gentlemen from TM1 as well from Huawei. Do you have any last words to say?
Yeah. I think as one of the government-owned telco company, we have served more than 100 years in Malaysia. We will keep on supporting the nation in terms of the development of our nation, businesses, to serve the public. I think partnership is important to accelerate the things that we wanted to do in terms of innovation, things that we wish that we can embrace those kind of investment. Otherwise, we will be lag behind, or somebody will come in and then disrupt the business. Then just see the things happen right in the front of our eyes. I guess that's the role that we wanted to play from TM1 and PM, perhaps also Huawei, our strategic collaborative partner, to bring this forward, to fasten the execution, to minimize the mistakes, and to give the right business model so that you can focus on things that you are good at, where we will deal with the rest of the technology advancement. So I think that's something that I wanted to close with. Joshua?
All right, thank you. So Mr. Ng, 30 seconds. What would you like to say?
I would like to say, just dare to make your first step. That's very important. And secondly, there's a given grant by the new Prime Minister as well for the SMEs, and especially for those manufacturing as well. Apply the grant and just start to explore how the digital can be able to help the business. And then if you need any help or support, we are all here as a Malaysian, and we want to help the Malaysian going through this pandemic as well together. And just to share with among all the others that you are not alone. That's all.
All right. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to our panels. They have been really generous with their time. They've been here since 9 o'clock in the morning and sitting there just watching the screen and just sharing their inputs about embrace to survive the digital storm. I think thank you very much again to Mr. Stan, Datin, of course, Mr. Masnan, as well as Mr. Ng. So thank you very much to our panels. I would like to give them a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's a great pleasure to meet them. I have never met them physically. I hope to meet them very, very soon, especially when we launch the all-new Reka. Okay, that one, I'm really looking forward to it. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for watching. But remember, I have the lucky draw. I have not forgotten you guys. We still have the lucky draw to give away. So I got a few more minutes to do that. I've already given out the 5 lucky draws for the DX. Okay. And the DX was given to Karen Mark, Rama Muthi. And then, of course, we got Ing Zufong, Suraiti, Sunita, and Helen Mark. So these are the winners of the 5 UDX. So what's this UDX? UDX is a comprehensive self-assessment tool, okay, so that is worth 10,000 ringgit. But don't worry, we are also giving out some other great prizes. So I'm going to give out another 5 more. But the first treat I'm going to give out is the Aeon voucher worth 100 ringgit, okay, worth 100 ringgit. So I'm going to share the screen, and my colleagues are going to help me share the screen so that we will announce the winner. There it is. Okay, dun dun. Okay, I don't have a drum, so I'm going to do my own drum. Okay, so let's go in 3, 2, 1. Aeon voucher. Let's see who's the winner. Haris Amir, LS Juan, and Christina Kwa. Congratulations, 100 ringgit. Yay! All right, so you can go shopping at Aeon, buy your groceries, whatever you need. That will help you a lot. And then, of course, now, the one that everyone is also looking forward to, thanks to Huawei, we've got the Huawei Watch Fit. Okay, Huawei Watch Fit. Okay, we need to clear those names, and we're going to see who's going to walk away with the Huawei Watch Fit, which is worth 499 ringgit. Wow. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see. Melvin Lee, yay! Congratulations! You walk away with a Huawei Watch Fit. So remember, we will be contacting you, and then of course we will be contacting you through the information they've given to us. So hopefully your information is correct. If not, please contact us as well. Okay, how to contact us? You just need to contact our friends on the chat room. Okay, just tell us who you are. Sorry. Okay, and then the last one, which is a Mi Band 4. This Mi Band 4 is worth 699 ringgit, and the winner is 3, 2, 1, go. Go, go, go. Kenyo, congratulations. Yay, well done. All right, so those are the winners. And of course, again, please contact us, or we will contact you with the information that has been given. So once again, thank you, everybody. It's been an honor to see the ladies and gentlemen of the panel. I also like to thank them and also ask them to stay safe, especially during this time. And of course, thanking them for taking so much time to prepare, not only prepare, but also to be here with us, all right, online. So thank you very much again to our distinguished panel, Mr. Stan, Datin Patricia P., of course, Encik Masnan, as well as Mr. Ng Chiu Hian. All right, now, remember, when you close this Zoom, this screen, there will be a pop-up where you will give us your feedback of this webinar session, okay? So please don't think it's a spam, okay? Make sure that you check it, that it's a feedback form. Fill it out for us, because we would love to know how we can continuously improve, so that the next time when we have this, you will feel that it is better and you will have more information at the same time. All right, so on behalf of our organizer, TM1 Technology Partner, Huawei Support Partner, MRCA, as well as AFAB, we'd like to thank each one for coming, and please stay home, stay safe, and of course, join us the next time online. Bye-bye.